It's Monday, July 26, 2010. I'm Kevin McShann, and this is the McShann Sports Beat Report. The Cincinnati Bengals have put out the help wanted sign, and they've pointed it in the direction of veteran wide receiver Terrell Owens, hoping to convince him to don the helmet of the Bengal Tiger this fall and become a permanent resident of the Queen City jungle. Bengals president Mike Brown confirmed the team's interest in the veteran wide receiver on Monday to Bengals.com prior to the team's training camp luncheon, but he says it's all in the receiver's hands. It's up to him, Brown said. We're talking to him. We have some interest. The Bengals broached the subject of signing Owens earlier this offseason. However, they decided to go in another direction when they signed Antonio Bryant to a 4-year, $28 million contract. However, multiple reports out of Cincinnati say that the veteran wide receiver is struggling to pick up the offense, which could reopen the door for Marvin Lewis and the Bengals to consider signing Owens. Brown says he was impressed with Owens' attitude when the team met with him back in March when they were exploring the possibility of signing him, and he says if the 36-year-old does indeed become a Bengal, he would welcome him with open arms. I found him polite. Nothing that's been said about him is true, and we like him as a player, Brown said. Two of the Bengals' most potent offensive weapons haven't been shy about expressing their desire to add the talent of the six-time Pro Bowler to the roster. Bengals quarterback Carson Palmer is working out with Owens in California, and he told Bengals.com that the receiver can still run, and Chad Ochocinco and Owens have been friends for several years. The Bengals have certainly exerted plenty of energy this offseason in an attempt to upgrade a stagnant passing attack, which ranked 26th in the league this season, averaging just 180.6 yards through the air, while the rushing game saved the season for the Bengals on offense. That ranked 9th, averaging 128.5 yards per game. They used their first-round pick, 21st overall in the 2010 NFL Draft, on tight end Jermaine Gresham out of Oklahoma, which should give them a passing threat down the middle of the field. However, they weren't done there trying to upgrade their offense when they added Texas standout wide receiver Jordan Shipley later in the draft, all in an attempt to boost their passing attack. Last season, for the offensively challenged Buffalo Bills, Owens had 55 receptions for 829 yards. He averaged 15.1 yards per catch, and he had 5 touchdowns. He also accumulated 9 receptions over 20 yards, and he also had 5 that surpassed the 40-yard mark. The Bengals haven't been the only team to inquire about adding the services of the veteran wideout. Both the Seattle Seahawks and St. Louis Rams had initial inquiries about adding the veteran pass catcher to the mix. However, Pete Carroll, the new head coach in Seattle, says that Owens would only be an option if his two potent pass catchers in TJ Houshmandzadeh and Deion Branch aren't on schedule for a full recovery by the time the season starts. As for the Rams, they've bowed out completely as of Monday. Some may wonder why the Washington Redskins aren't a possible landing spot for T.O., especially considering his previous working relationship with Donovan McNabb, the new signal caller in the nation's capital. However, Mike Shanahan, the new head coach in Washington, has ruled out Owens as a possibility, ending in a hope of a reunion. There's no doubt that Terrell Owens is still one of the most productive and potent wide receivers in all of the NFL, and he would certainly bring some splash and a spark to the Bengals passing game, which desperately needs it. But now the question is, will he catch on with the Bengals, or will T.O. be forced to play a wait-and-see game? We'll all be watching to see where the popcorn will be eaten this season and whether T.O. can get out of the unemployment line and on an NFL roster in 2010. Kevin McShann, Sports Beat, reports.